Chosen one, this sacred secret has been kept for you to remain humble. Now, in the light of this divine knowledge that has penetrated to the depths of your life, the time has come to fill your soul with fire and your heart with faith. The painful traces of the past have existed in order to elevate you, to mature you, and to enable you to find your way in the vast sea of the divine plan. This truth is a message of hope and rebirth hidden behind every difficulty. Let us engrave this inspiring truth in your heart. Every wound, every fall in the past is a divine teaching that transforms you into the powerful being you are today. God's grace and mercy are with you every step of the way. Now is the time to open the new pages of your life. The dawn that rises after the dark nights is the harbinger of every new day, every new beginning. Remember, dear brothers and sisters, that this holy knowledge is only a reflection of the faith and humility hidden in the depths of your heart. Your difficulties are a tremendous gift from God. Every obstacle is a harbinger of a greater miracle for you. Today, to feel this divine message in your heart is a call to open the doors of hope and might. Rise, move forward, and know that you are the heroes of a divine story. Come on, let's join hands in this spiritual journey, because no matter how intense the darkness is, the divine light will always illuminate your path. Now get up, write 77 in the comments, shake the world with your faith, and trace the traces of divine grace with every step. There was never a moment of true safety, not even in the innocence of youth. Running barefoot through golden fields, laughter spilling like morning light, everything seemed untouched by malice. But unseen eyes lurked in the background, silent, simmering. Not the gaze of a stranger, nor the rivalry of a peer, but the cold calculation of those who should have nurtured, not envied. It wasn't your actions that unsettled them. It was something deeper, something you carried without effort. Even in the simplest of moments, your presence alone became an unspoken accusation against what they refused to acknowledge within themselves. Their resentment did not arrive as a storm, but as an insidious whisper, a slow, creeping shadow. Too young to see it, too pure to recognize its weight, you walked unknowingly into a battle already waged against you. You grasped things with ease, radiated a quiet certainty, and in a world where others strained for recognition, your existence alone disrupted the carefully maintained illusion of their own superiority. Rather than rising to the challenge, they sought to diminish you. It began in small, deliberate ways, hushed conversations behind closed doors, sideways glances exchanged like hidden daggers. A quiet campaign of exclusion designed to make you question the very nature of your belonging. The change unfolded in subtle ways. Doors that once opened effortlessly now stayed closed. Invitations that once arrived without hesitation were suddenly lost in the wind. The same hands that once clasped yours in play became hesitant, withdrawing without reason. You searched for explanations, replayed moments in your mind, but the truth was never yours to unravel. It was never about what you did or failed to do. It was about them, their discomfort, their inadequacies, their need to silence anything that made them feel less than enough. With careful calculation, they orchestrated distance, bending perception to fit their narrative. Words, laced with quiet poison, slipped into the ears of those around you, framing you as arrogant, as different, as something that simply didn't belong. You felt the shift long before you understood it, the weight of unseen forces pressing down on the spaces you once filled with ease. The world around you grew colder, yet the fire within you refused to dim. What they never understood was that no amount of rejection could snuff out the light that was never theirs to control. But the unseen always bears witness. Every scheme, every attempt to erase you from the places you rightfully stood was observed by something greater. While they believed themselves to be architects of your downfall, their own foundations crumbled beneath them. The weight of their own bitterness ate away at them from within, their restless resentment carving out a hollow existence. The very words they spoke to bind you in limitation became the chains that held them down. They thought their whispers would be forgotten, that their exclusion would go unnoticed, but the truth has a way of returning. And in the end, it was never you who was diminished, it was them. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. There were moments when the air felt thick, when the weight of unspoken words clung to your skin like damp cloth. You were just a child, yet every glance, every seemingly innocent remark carried something unseen, an undertow, a pull meant to drain you. Laughter dimmed in their presence. Joy felt harder to hold, as if the very atmosphere changed when they spoke your name. Words were never just words. They carried weight, unseen but deeply felt. A lingering presence, a tightening in the chest, the sudden exhaustion after being in the wrong room with the wrong people. It wasn't love. It was never love. They never spoke to uplift. They spoke to unravel, and they assumed you wouldn't notice. What they didn't understand was that nothing ever truly disappears. Energy moves, it shifts, it lingers, and it returns to its source. Every whispered slight, every feigned compliment wrapped in resentment, every moment they sought to diminish you, it all gathered like unseen clouds, waiting to break. They wove intentions into their words, hoping their murmured doubts would take root in your mind before you even knew who you were. They convinced themselves that their schemes would go unnoticed, that what they sent out would dissolve into nothing. But the universe holds every word, and what is sent out must return. They couldn't accept your presence, so they sought to strip you down piece by piece. A missing trinket, a borrowed item never returned, a familiar object misplaced in a house where things never truly went missing. At the time, it seemed insignificant, the way certain hands lingered too long on your belongings, the way some people clung to what was yours as if possession could give them power. It was years later that you understood. These weren't mere accidents, but attempts to take what could never belong to them. They weren't collecting objects. They were trying to claim pieces of your essence, grasping at anything they believed could tether them to what you carried naturally. But what they took could never change what was written. Their intentions, their quiet manipulations, their rituals in secrecy, all of it crumbled under the weight of what they were up against. They underestimated what protected you. No force, no stolen fragment, no whispered wish could undo the path already set for you. While they busied themselves with attempts to alter your course, they failed to see how the very energy they wielded was turning against them. The bitterness they held, the plans they made, the shadows they sent. They became prisoners of their own design, and in the end, they were forced to watch as doors closed in their faces, as the very opportunities they hoped would slip through your fingers became yours without resistance. They placed their energy into blocking your path, but the more they tried, the higher you rose. They became consumed, trapped in an endless cycle of watching, waiting, hoping for your downfall. But every attempt to delay you only hastened their own stagnation. While you moved forward, they remained bound to the weight of their own resentment. The life they thought they could steal was never theirs to claim, and now all that remains are the remnants of a battle they already lost. The currents of the universe move with precision, and nothing escapes the flow of cause and effect. They assumed power could be hoarded, that they could bend the unseen to their will, sculpting outcomes with sheer desire. Yet the tides have turned, and the forces they sought to control now weave through their lives with a weight they never foresaw. Their surroundings, once familiar and comforting, feel alien and oppressive. A heaviness lingers in their air. The walls seem to close in, and the very spaces they once found solace in now feel like cages. They reach for vitality, yet everything they touch wilts. Their nights stretch long and restless, burdened by whispers that slither through the silence, shadows that refuse to sit still, and an unshakable sense of being watched. The echoes of what they unleashed refuse to be silenced. Their own voices falter in the incantations they once spoke with certainty, and the tools they relied on for influence now crumble into irrelevance. It is not by mortal hands that this has come to pass. It is the decree of a greater law that governs all. They played at mastery, but mastery requires understanding, and they never truly grasped the forces they beckoned forth. They wove intentions with threads of malice, but what they failed to realize is that such threads do not dissolve. They loop back, seeking their maker. The weight of their own choices now bears down on them. They envisioned suffering for another, only to chain themselves to the very affliction they designed. Meanwhile, the one they sought to bring low stands unshaken, untouched by their schemes, because true alignment with the higher order cannot be undone by human machinations. Clarity and truth are not always gentle. They do not come wrapped in soft words and comforting illusions. There are those who walk the path of knowing, those who gather in the sanctum of wisdom, where veils are lifted and reality stands bare. Within these circles, the current is strong, electrifying, impossible to contain. Revelation sparks in conversation, transformation unfolds in shared experience, and those who dare step forward find themselves immersed in a movement that cannot be stopped. While they continue to scramble for solutions, hoping to mend what cannot be mended, the very fabric of their own existence unravels. What they set in motion does not vanish. It follows bloodlines, embeds itself into the patterns of their future, shaping outcomes in ways they never considered. Where once there was promise, there is now stagnation. Doors that once flung open without resistance now remain sealed. Fortunes shift, relationships fray, and an unseen hand seems to pull back every step they attempt to take forward. At first, they rationalize it, dismiss it as mere misfortune. But deep within, they know the weight pressing upon them is not random. They sent it forth, and now it has found its way home. Now, my dear friends, hear this message with an open heart. There comes a time in every believer's life when the road ahead appears shadowed by trials and tribulations, a season where even the most steadfast soul might question the direction in which they are headed. But let me remind you, as clear as the morning light breaking through the horizon, that every challenge is but an opportunity in disguise. The struggles you face today are not punishments, but rather divine signposts guiding you toward a destiny richer and more abundant than you have ever imagined. In the grand tapestry of life, each thread of hardship interweaves with threads of triumph to create a masterpiece that is uniquely yours. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the super thank you button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. It is in these moments of apparent despair that the Almighty calls upon us to rise above our circumstances, to trust that every closed door is not a rejection, but a redirection towards something far greater. Consider this: every time you stumble or face setback, it is as if you are being gently steered away from a path that would have led you into barren fields, and instead you are being ushered into gardens where miracles abound. There is a divine orchestration at work, a heavenly design that ensures every setback is merely a setup for a grand comeback. Think about the times when fortune seemed to favor you, a moment when a simple act of faith transformed a routine day into a cascade of blessings. Those were not mere coincidences, but the handiwork of a power that delights in uplifting the hearts of those who dare to believe. Just as the sun rises each morning without fail, so too does the promise of a new beginning shine upon those who are willing to step forward with unwavering trust. And while it may seem that the world has grown indifferent, remember that every act of kindness, every prayer whispered in the quiet moments of your day, resonates deeply within the chambers of heaven. In our human nature, we sometimes try to patch up the unpatchable, to force a solution where the divine has already laid a plan. And in doing so, we unravel the very threads that hold our destiny together. Yet, there is hope. Even when the tapestry of life appears frayed, the master weaver is still at work, meticulously repairing and redesigning our future. Our missteps and miscalculations do not simply vanish into the void. They follow us like shadows, influencing the very essence of our being. But these are not marks of failure. They are lessons, dear friends, teaching us to be wiser, stronger, and more resilient in the face of adversity. Remember the parable of the mustard seed, a tiny kernel that, when nurtured by faith, grows into a mighty tree, providing shelter and sustenance to many. In much the same way, the seemingly insignificant choices you make each day, the humble acts of faith and obedience, are the seeds that will one day yield an abundant harvest. Even when it appears that every door is closed, know that the Lord is crafting an entrance that is custom-made for your breakthrough. It is not by random chance that you face these obstacles. Rather, it is by divine design, ensuring that you are fully prepared for the blessings that lie ahead. There will be times when the weight of your past actions feels heavier than you can bear, a burden that seems to pull you back every time you try to move forward. But do not be dismayed. For every burden, there is a promise of relief. Every tear that falls in moments of despair is a testament to the strength of your spirit and the transformative power of grace. Just as a sculptor chisels away at a block of stone to reveal a masterpiece hidden within, so too does every trial refine and define you, preparing you for a destiny that far surpasses your wildest dreams. Today, I invite you to look at your life through the lens of divine purpose. See beyond the immediate disappointments and understand that the setbacks you face are not dead ends, but rather stepping stones towards a future filled with promise and prosperity. Allow the truth of these words to wash over you, renewing your spirit and fortifying your resolve. Stand firm in the knowledge that the weight you carry is not a sign of your downfall, but a marker of your journey, a journey that, though fraught with challenges, is destined for victory. Imagine your life is like a well-worn oak tree, standing tall and proud in a vast field of promise. Its roots dig deep into the nourishing soil of God's love, drawing strength from every drop of grace that falls like gentle rain. Just as the mighty oak endures each season, weathering storms and basking in the sunlight, so too do you grow through every challenge and blessing that touches your soul. Let this truth settle in your heart. The actions of the past, however painful they may seem, are not the final word in your story. They are but chapters in a much larger narrative, a narrative authored by a loving Creator who delights in your growth. As you press forward, embrace each moment with gratitude, for every trial is an opportunity to experience the depth of God's mercy and the power of His love. Allow your spirit to soar on the wings of hope, knowing that with every dawn comes a fresh start, a new chance to rewrite your destiny. Now consider this. Life is a tapestry woven by divine hands, each thread a moment of triumph or trial, all intertwined to create a picture far greater than any one strand could reveal. Every setback, every heartache is not a mark of defeat, but a stepping stone towards the glory that awaits. When the weight of your past seems too heavy to bear, remember that God has a purpose for every stumble and every tear. It is in these moments of struggle that He is molding you into the person you are meant to be, a beacon of hope, a vessel of His abundant love. There will be times when you feel the sting of disappointment, when the closed doors of yesterday seem to bar your way to tomorrow. Yet, do not lose heart, for each of these doors is not a barrier, but a signpost, redirecting you to a better path, a path paved with the promises of prosperity and joy. Your journey is not defined by the scars of old wounds, but by the courage to rise each time you fall, knowing that with every challenge, God is preparing you for greater blessings ahead. Friends, let your heart be filled with the assurance that the grace of God is ever present, like the morning sun that chases away the darkness of night. His love brings warmth and light to even the coldest of days. Embrace each new moment as a gift, a chance to move forward with faith, gratitude, and a spirit unburdened by the regrets of the past. For in His infinite wisdom, He transforms every hardship into a stepping stone towards a brighter future. So, as you stand at the crossroads of your journey, take comfort in knowing that every experience, every trial, is a part of a divine design. Trust in the everlasting mercy of our Creator, and let your soul be uplifted by the certainty that no matter how heavy the burden may seem, a new dawn awaits, a dawn filled with hope, love, and the promise of a destiny rewritten by His hand. So, let the spirit of renewal and hope infuse every fiber of your being. Walk boldly into the future, knowing that the journey ahead is paved with the blessings of heaven. And as you step forward, let your life be a testament to the truth that even when the path seems uncertain, the hand of the Almighty is guiding you every step of the way. Trust in the divine plan, and be assured that every closed door is merely an invitation to discover a new realm of possibilities, a realm where miracles flourish, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow is not just a dream, but a reality waiting to be embraced. Brothers and sisters, keep your eyes fixed on the horizon, and let the light of faith dispel every shadow of doubt. In the midst of life's storms, remember that you are never alone. The source of all prosperity walks with you, guiding you toward an abundant life filled with joy, love, and unending grace. Amen. There was never a need to retaliate. Justice was never in mortal hands to dispense. Protection does more than shield. It ensures balance is restored. They invested deeply in tearing another down, exhausting themselves in the process, never realizing that every ounce of energy they poured into destruction was a withdrawal from their own essence. Now the very people who once cheered them on withdraw. Their names, once spoken with admiration, are now met with silence. The space around them thins, isolating them in ways they never anticipated. The reflections they once met with confidence now show weariness etched into every line, the weight of their own actions aging them in ways they cannot explain. They thought they were siphoning power, but they only ever depleted themselves. The shift is undeniable. The one they opposed no longer carries the burden they attempted to place upon them. The fog has lifted, the path has cleared, and the presence that once sought to dim has only grown stronger. On the other hand, those who reveled in another's struggle now find themselves shrinking. Their voices, once loud, are now hushed. Their glances, once brazen, now dart away. A knowing settles in their bones. The very essence of what they tried to escape now walks beside them. They scramble for escape, seeking to undo what has already rooted itself too deep. But universal law does not bend for pleading hands. It does not reverse for regret. What was cast into motion completes its cycle, returning home in full measure. The moment of reckoning is no longer distant. It is here. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. The weight of consequence is not easily lifted, and the passage of time does not erase the debts written into the fabric of existence. Those who once wielded influence with reckless hands now fumble for remedies they cannot find. Their voices, once loud with mockery, now murmur desperate pleas into the void. The same people who dismissed the notion of spiritual repercussions now cower beneath the weight of their own choices. Yet the laws that govern the unseen do not bend for remorse. Equilibrium is not personal. It is the unshakable structure of all things. What was set into motion cannot be unraveled, and the energy they sent forth has made its return, demanding its due. They believed they held dominion over fate, thought they could reshape outcomes in their favor, assumed that their actions would never ripple back to them. But the storm they summoned now roars at their doorstep, unrelenting. There is no negotiation, no shield strong enough to deflect the retribution they have called upon themselves. The nights stretch endlessly. Their minds echo with sounds they cannot trace. An unease lingers in the corners of every room. Their candles wane, their words falter, their efforts dissolve into futility. They built a foundation on falsehoods, and now the structure collapses, leaving them to sift through the ruins. Forces they once sought to manipulate now move against them, and every decision they made with malice is now a weight upon their chest, pressing down without mercy. They spent lifetimes entangled in obsession, weaving strategies in shadows, exhausting their days on attempts to orchestrate another's downfall. But the target of their fixation remained unaware, moving forward while they stagnated, expanding while they withered. Every breath they wasted in resentment was a step away from their own potential, every bitter thought an anchor to their own demise. They spoke words laced with contempt, believing their voices had the power to reshape reality, yet they never understood that destiny does not bow to mortal schemes. The foundation of another's success was never within their grasp. The unfolding of another's purpose was never theirs to interrupt. While they struggled to dismantle, the one they envied continued to rise, untouched by their efforts, oblivious to their attempts. And now, the truth is undeniable. Their wasted years have amounted to nothing. Their battles fought in vain. They see now what they refused to acknowledge before. Their own downfall was never authored by another's hand. It was written by their own.